welcome back to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. We've got everybody here except Ben again.
Ben, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm gonna. Ben got accepted into a nursing program.
Oh, awesome.
So Ben probably won't be joining us on Thursdays for quite some time. We record on Thursdays.
Congratulations, Ben.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ben.
And his classes are Thursdays from like 1 to 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep, no, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. So he said if he ever doesn't have class, he'll join us. Or if we decide to film a couple episodes on another day, since we'll have some time, he will join us.
Definitely. Cool. I would offer him a cookie that I've so graciously baked. But he's not here.
He's not here.
So he doesn't get a cookie.
No cookies.
I am going to take 2 of those cookies when I leave today. Yeah.
I'm quite proud of it.
They're very good.
Anyways, so...
Amanda's going to make them for all the patrons.
Just come to Amanda and demand your cookie, folks.
Pay me for my cookies. I don't think this is no charity. It's a lot of supplies, man.
Oh, that's right. We're actually going to be working off the labor that it took for you to make the cookies. So you have some jobs for us, right?
No.
No?
No.
So we get them for free. So patrons, we get it for free. You have to pay, and she'll make you cookies.
Unbelievable.
Start ordering now.
Business.
It's very selfish of you, Amanda.
Very what?
Selfish.
You want to pay for the cookies? Go
Look,
right
I
ahead.
use like King Arthur flour for my baking. That's kind of the...
What is King Arthur flour?
Yeah,
So King
that
Arthur
doesn't mean
Baking
much to
Company.
me.
So the King Arthur Baking Company, sponsor me. Is like kind of like this really high end like
Oh, yeah?
baking supply
Yeah, it's
company.
actually
Their
really
flour is
good.
really like really nice. It doesn't clump as much as
Isn't
like just
the King Arthur like your favorite movie?
No.
No?
Different. I know what you tried
Different
to do.
King Arthur? Not related?
No, not related.
Bummer.
Ouch.
But isn't King Arthur your favorite movie?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I only buy from the King Edward Longshanks baking company.
I see what you're doing there, Joe.
I like Longshanks.
Look here.
I don't know.
I buy King Arthur when I can.
Where can one buy King Arthur?
At the grocery
The
store.
grocery store.
Any grocery store.
Yeah, in the grocery store.
Oh, interesting.
In the baking area.
I don't think I've ever bought flour.
How do you?
Are you going to say, how do I bake?
How do you?
I've never baked
Have you
anything.
made like chicken cutlets?
Oh, yeah, I've bought flour then.
Yeah.
All right. That's flour. To be honest with you, though, I probably just like, when I was at my mom's house, I probably just like took a bag.
Oh, so you haven't bought flour.
So you're a thief.
So the secrets are coming out.
Look, moms just always have excess flour.
Yeah.
It's
She always got
just-
flour.
They gotta bake a lot of things.
Yeah. My mom has flour like everywhere. It's got on top of the fridge. It's like underneath the stove. You know what I mean? It's just
I have my
like.
special like area for all my baking stuff. I have my special drawer with all my baking.
Cool.
I love baking. Special skill.
Now, folks, you're probably looking at the name of this video and saying, this doesn't say baking hour on it.
No.
Well, we're talking about Stephen King.
Stephen
Yes.
King,
The one, the only.
the master of horror
And
whose
other
son is-
things.
and other things.
Whose
He's
son is starting to get more and more into the cinematic
Dustin King, right?
world.
No, Joe
Hill.
Joe Hill.
Personally, I think he should just embrace and put King on his name
Yeah,
now.
he
It's like,
should.
we know.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
It's
he
not a
didn't
secret
want to
anymore.
when he came out to be like,
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those people who's like, oh, I'm riding on my dad's coattails. But
I-
he's great.
I
at writing.
understand that, but like, Stephen King's not still publishing Richard Bachman novels.
That's true.
The jig was up.
They've been collaborating, so it's like Joe Hill and Stephen King just kind of holding hands. They're just like father-son duo doing a great job. I think Dr. Sleep was actually a collaboration effort
Oh.
on their part.
Interesting.
So it's been...
1 week since you looked at me.
Anyways, we're going to be appreciating Stephen King a bit. He's had a great year. He's had a great career in general. It's like, I don't think anybody out there hasn't seen something that was either written, produced, or produced by Stephen King. And sometimes it's interesting to see things like he doesn't just write horror. He goes into like sci-fi occasionally, very little. He also has short stories, and he also does sometimes dramas as well as like The Green Mile.
Yeah.
Shawshank.
Yeah. He's done a lot of fantasy stuff.
Stand
By Me.
Tower.
Yeah.
Dolores
And
Claiborne.
correct me if I'm wrong, he writes children's books too? Is that Stephen King?
That's how I was actually introduced. It's weird how they categorize Stephen King. My first Stephen King book was actually Eyes of the Dragon. And that was kind of marketed as like young adult when
feel
I
like
was in like school.
I feel like I remember hearing that he wrote like real little children books.
Like picture books?
Yeah.
Like, I know he wrote Eye of the Dragon because that was a story he told his daughter. And I think, I don't know if she convinced him to make it like a full length or he
Charlie
asked
the
her.
Choo Choo.
Yeah. Yeah, see he does.
The night Dad went to jail.
Cuz he did like he's a big Red Sox fan. We'll forgive
The
him
girl
for
who
that.
loved Tom Gordon.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The man's just New England personified.
He is, right? Yeah.
You gotta cut him some slack there.
Yeah.
We can't help where we grow up and whose teams we root for.
Sure you can.
Although Charlie the Choo
Can't help
Choo
where you
looks
grow up,
like
you
Hey,
can help whose
nightmares.
teams you root for.
My brother grew up in New York, and for some reason he's a Patriots fan. So
What?
Patriots fan
Yeah.
too, to be fair.
Interesting.
I'm from North Carolina.
I don't really mind.
that's just like I just like
Well,
when the team wins. That's all.
I mean, that's true because I have
My
a
stepfather was
cousin
big
who
into
lives
them,
down
and
on
then
Long
it, like,
Island
I
and
was
he's a
like,
Dolphins fan.
Adult. See, so those things kind of make sense to me because if you're a Dolphins fan and you're around our age, you were probably at the in the Dan Marino era.
Oh, he's much older than me, so he's technically my father's cousin.
Yeah. Well, he
So-
probably still. So he probably saw the undefeated Dolphins team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we are not talking about Stephen King, are we?
No, we're not. We
No,
got
but I
onto
can
sports.
segue into
But
that.
look what Stephen King makes
From the Miami Dolphins.
Much
to-
like Stephen King, we're embracing the discursions.
Yes.
Yes. So, Stephen King, his works have been adapted multiple times, the big and the small screen, and there are some remakes in the works. So, Salem's Lot, the release date for that will be April 21st.
It was supposed to be this year,
Yeah, it
but
got
they
pushed
pushed
back.
back because of COVID and other reasons.
Is it WB?
It might be, but I heard the reasons were COVID related.
Oh, well, if it's Warner Brothers, they're just in a mess right now.
Really? Why?
Discovery bought them, and the Discovery
HBO,
CEO
yeah.
doesn't know what he's doing and just
Wow.
keeps. He canceled like a bunch of projects for tax write-offs to save
Oh,
like
the
a
HBO,
couple
yeah, they got
$1 million.
rid of all those independent animations.
But then they've lost like 20 billion in value. So
Wow.
yeah, they're just
No.
plummeting right now. But they'll sell them off soon, and they'll get snatched up by another company with maybe a better idea how to run them.
Wow.
That's just the history of Warner Brothers.
Is that what happened to Batgirl?
Yes.
See, I wasn't sad about that. I'm getting tired of DC.
Look,
right
Brendan
now.
Fraser was coming back.
Yeah, he was going to be in it.
He was going to be the Flying Moth, Killer Moth.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
Kelsey Graham. Gonna be Killer
I'm
Moth.
so happy for
Brendan Fraser, not Kelsey
Bre-
Grammer.
Brendan Fraser.
Someone said Frasier. Oh, well, like
Brendan
my
Fraser, the guy who's
yeah,
the
Mummy.
yeah, Mummy and
Looney Tunes back in action.
Bedazzled.
Jungle Book. Not
Bedazzled.
George-
Wow.
I love that movie.
What a-
George of
what
the
a-
Jungle.
No one talks about
What
it.
a random movie to throw to, yeah. Wow.
Simona.
That's
Lead us
what
back in,
that's what we
please.
should watch
George
in
of the
November.
Jungle.
Let's watch Bedazzled. Movie's bad.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Monkey
There was a
Yeah.
flow going. So, in post production, we have Mr. Harrigan's phone.
Oh.
So
Is that the black phone?
No, Mr. Harris.
Oh.
Mr. Harrigan's phone. So the
Interesting.
powerhouse
Coincidence.
team of Ryan Murphy and Jason Blum are going to be
Oh.
adapting the Stephen King short story Mr. Harrigan's phone,
Blum,
featured
is that
in the
Blumhouse?
2020 collection If It
Yeah.
Bleeds for Netflix.
I only like Ryan Murphy when he does American Crime Story. So
Nice.
Oh, that's the guy who
Yeah.
does American Horror Story
Yeah,
and all
and
that
Glee
stuff.
and all that
Ooh,
stuff.
Blumhouse and American Horror Story. stuff
What
coming
has he done that
together.
you don't like?
I don't like Glee. I don't like American
Glee
Horror
didn't-
Story.
Oh, you don't. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
I like
those are the
American
thing-
Crime Story.
Oh,
From him. That's
Crime
about
Story,
it. But
that's
that's like some of the best stuff on TV. So
I still have
he's
to
wild.
give it a watch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Spaced out.
Get your notes.
Simona.
Get your notes.
Yeah, so another one is The Boogeyman is also in production. It was first announced in 2018 that Scott Beck and Brian Woods, A Quiet Place, will be adapting Stephen King's short story The Boogeyman for 20th Century Fox.
Who's in that? I feel like
Not
I've heard
to be
stuff about
associated with the bad movie The Boogeyman that came out a couple of years, like a long time. It was
So
awful.
I think it's being developed as a Hulu exclusive, and Rob Savage has come aboard to direct. Mark Heyman, Black Swan, is developing the latest draft of the script, and Sophie Thatcher, Yellow Jackets, and Chris Messina, Birds of Prey, have signed on to star. Billy Summers is also, it's a TV
Ooh.
miniseries that's in development.
that. Who's Billy Summers?
Billy Summers is the book.
Yeah, but who is he?
You have to read the book or watch the miniseries that'll come out.
So it's about a hitman who aims to end his deadly career after one last job. And
Ooh, I like it already.
Stephen King Crime Story.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, he did do the. What was the one with James Franco in it? The
1963.
1963, the one about the assassination.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that was a super like crazy ride of a book. That one got mixed reviews when it came out because it was like technically like a weird historical fiction mixed with time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's still
Sounds
very
like another
fascinating.
book that does that.
A lot of books do that. That's the whole point of time travel. Is
Yeah.
like, what would you do if you could time travel? Like, what would you stop? And
Well,
the whole point is
Outlander.
his life. Yeah.
I,
Except there's like a little bit of romance in this
Outlander.
one, or there is a big romance, but but they're not constantly like
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I like this Billy Summers one though. That sounds interesting.
well, they're doing another one also. Like they're doing Christine is also being.
I'm
that was
so
made in the 80s.
excited.
That's also being made. They're developing the story later, which is about a young boy who has the ability to see the dead, and his mother works for this publishing company, and they have this power.
Isn't that The Sixth Sense?
No.
He doesn't work for a publishing company.
And the mother works for this publishing company, and their star author dies before he can release his latest book.
Ghostwriter.
So she has her son go to the house where the author lived. He sees his ghost, and the ghost basically, through the son, tells the entire story.
He's a
That
ghost
sounds like it should be a
writer.
comedy.
That rules.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I
Well-
started listening to it, but then I just
Stephen
gave up.
King is really funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's an underrated part
Well,
of
that's
it.
like
Yeah.
trying to look at like a lot of things. Like when they remade it, it's like when you originally had it and you found out what like the creature was initially. It was just a giant space spider crab thing.
Spoilers!
And also like the
Never
Dark
read
Tower.
the story, Amanda. Thank you.
It's in the movie.
I never watched the second part.
Did you watch the
se-
original?
you
No.
don't watch the second
Oh.
part. It's
Yeah.
not good.
It's not.
The first Andy Muschietti,
didn't mind it.
I loved it. I was like, this is
Agreed.
great. The second part, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Come on.
I
That's
feel like
basically where
the-
it goes.
The
so
first
it's
one,
crazy.
they really embraced the humor,
yeah.
and they didn't do that in the
And
second
like
one.
the first one felt like a good funhouse ride. It was
Yeah.
very the scares were aplenty and they were cool and
Yeah.
enjoyable, but the second one was just like nearly incoherent.
Yeah.
Though one thing I think is really funny in it is they imply that Peter Bogdanovich would be directing a major Hollywood blockbuster in 2018, and this was like, oh no, you don't. Bogdanovich's career got sad, guys.
Yeah.
See, with the original It, we only have the first part in our system. I can never find the second part of the original, so
Oh.
I've never been able to watch it. I've never.
Kids.
I find the original series of it to be a little, it's be a
Campy?
little, yeah. Like I love Tim Curry, but Pennywise is just funny. It's just straight
he
up
was
funny.
more clown than, and I think that's what they were trying to get
Yeah.
away from was give him the clown aesthetic, but make him an actual creature from space kind of deal, even though he's technically not from space.
Best part of
Yeah.
the first It movie of the recent one was when Pennywise was dancing, and it was just really weird, Tim and Eric effects. I loved that. I think about that shot a lot, and I adore it.
Yeah.
There's also a very long Indian TV adaptation of it.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, that I was trying to track down online one time, but I couldn't find it. I think it
Interesting.
came out in the 90s or so.
Oh.
I think it's just called I think the translated title is just Clown, but I forget what it's called.
Wait, what is this for? This is for...
an Indian TV adaptation of It.
Wow.
Amanda's on the case.
It's called Woe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's WOH, but it's, let's see. Woe.
Let's buy a copy.
There's
Well,
52
that's
It's a
episodes.
Hindi language TV show adaptation of Stephen King's epic horror novel, It.
Oh, now I'm curious.
I'd watch that. Yeah.
Nope.
There's this Indian, like, I forgot what movie
Their
it's
makeup
part
and
of,
cinematography
but
is
it was
interesting.
made in the 80s, and it's a play on the Michael Jackson Thriller video. It is funny. If I can find it, I will send it to you all. Because yeah, it's hysterical, and like, but that's what that reminded me of. But if you could find that's something I think I'd want to watch.
I could probably find it. I could probably get it. No problem.
We're on the case.
No, thank you.
Thank you. And then
Oh.
another one that's in development. Sorry, is
No,
no.
The Talisman is another one,
Which I'm very excited.
and it's about
one of my
a
favorites.
12-year-old boy's epic journey to save his mother. So I think this has been something that this person has wanted to adapt for a while, but yeah, so there are a lot of adaptations in the work. I know Netflix, I think 2 years ago, had a few adaptations, like In the Tall Grass, Gerald's Game
Yeah.
was adapted. It's
I
interesting
think
though
there
to me
was
how
another
often
one, too.
there probably
Can't
was.
think of it.
The
how
one where
often
the-
these works are adapted.
He's
Yeah.
just so prolific.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's that famous interview with him and George R. R. Martin, and at one point George R. R. Martin's just like, "How can you write so much? This is such a struggle for me, and you just churn them out like nothing."
Well, it's like one of the most checked out books I think in the library, because any person who's looking to join like the writers club that we used to have here or anything like that, a book that I constantly see go out is Stephen King's on writing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his book about like, tips and stuff like that on writing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those books that like a lot of teachers do also, they recommend to people. He's a fantastic writer. He can be goofy all he wants sometimes with some of the monster reveals. It feels like an adult R.L. Stein sometimes, where it's like, that's the reveal? Really? That's it?
That's
But-
what kind of bothered me
yeah.
about The Stranger. Like, I was reading his book and I was so into it. I was like, okay, this is awesome.
Like, he does good build.
I know, but
Just
then,
to kind of be like,
but
there's a
then
potato.
the reveal was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I just like threw the book. I'm like, oh, forget about it.
What
like,
was the reveal?
It was, I think he's supposed to be,
Spoilers incoming.
spoilers, yeah. So, basically it's about this creature that targets children. It's,
Oh, that sounds like it.
yeah, he rapes and murders children.
A lot of people like to think that
Yeah.
Stephen King has a vendetta against children. Children of the Corn, Pet Cemetery.
Oh, Pet Cemetery, the kids.
Oh.
I didn't
Fire
care whether they
Starter.
lived or
Is that when he
died.
cuts the Achilles tendon?
Oh,
Is that- which one
Gage.
was- Yeah.
Gage was the kid's name. I love
Oh
that.
my
No,
God.
I like when he tries to do. He's like, no fair.
I just gotta shout out the Ramones theme song for Pet Cemetery. Amazing.
Oh. I really like Stand By Me and Misery. Kathy
Misery.
Bates.
Misery's a fantastic one.
Kathy Bates in that role is
R.I.P. James Caan.
yeah.
Less
Yeah.
seen, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Stephen King movie with Kathy Bates, Dolores Claiborne. She
Yep.
she
That was
kills
a
it in
good
that.
one too.
I don't think I've seen
Yeah.
that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. I recommend it.
Yeah, and
It's-
there were works that I didn't even realize were Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm a fan of needful things. I'm a fan of watching people make choices and
Mhm.
having to live with the consequences
Yeah.
of those choices.
Yeah. Would
The
I?
Devil Owns a Shop. If you are a fan of Rick
Oh,
and Morty, they did an
okay.
episode based on that.
That's funny.
And so there's a shop called Needful Things in the thing where the devil owns the shop, and every item is like supposed to grant the wish of somebody, but it comes at a horrible cost. It's like a monkey's paw store. Everything's a monkey's paw, where it's like, oh,
And
awesome.
the Rick and
then-
Morty episode, Rick just fixes everything and makes the devil extremely depressed.
What I thought was interesting is like when Stanley Kubrick had made The Shining,
Oh,
I
yeah,
watched the
King
documentary.
and
hates
and
that
Stephen King
version.
hated
Which
the adaptation.
I think Kubrick's adaptation is phenomenal, but
It's
I
a great
understand
movie.
why Steven was so upset with it, because he saw so much of himself in the
Yeah.
character of Jack, and Kubrick just from the get-go portrays him as the worst
Oh, yeah.
person.
Did anyone
Yeah.
else, I'm sorry, I keep
No, go ahead.
interrupting.
No, you're good.
Did anyone else get freaked out by the scene when the wife character is running upstairs and you see the people in like the costumes
Oh,
in the
yes.
bedroom?
Yeah.
That is the one
Classic
scene that
scene.
whenever they try to remake this movie, like there's been like I think like 3 different versions of The Shining that have been done.
Have they really?
Yeah, there's
Oh.
always a scene where there's the guy in the bear suit, and I'm always like, the bear suit always looks weird to me.
Yeah, and
I hated the woman getting out of the tub. That always creeped me out.
I
That's in the movie.
never saw The Shining.
It's a
I never
it's
saw
a
The
great
Shining.
Oh, no?
movie.
Yeah, it
Brian's
really
never
is.
seen The Shining. It's
I-
one of those movies I'm like, I'm gonna watch it.
Well, I
I
really like is in Ready Player One. I don't know if anyone here have seen that movie.
Th-
Brian
that
closed
is
his eyes during
one
the
of the
entire
most
thing because he
surreal
refused to watch
things
that part.
imaginable.
Really?
He's never seen The Shining. Brian has
But
a thing against
I-
spoilers of any
Yeah.
kind.
I
Yeah,
haven't
but I
seen
think-
Ready Player One, but that's
Yeah.
just insane to
Right.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually did like an homage to
Yeah.
to The Shining,
Because
which was really cool. I thought.
Spielberg and Kubrick were weirdly close,
Yeah.
considering how different their work is.
What'd they do in Ready Player One?
So in one of like they're trying to figure out this riddle in order to
One of the
save
trials,
the
yeah.
the virtual world that they like going into, and essentially the virtual world is like this huge pop culture bomb nostalgia like overload kind of a thing from. And so they go into a movie theater that then turns into the hotel of The Shining.
Oh, cool.
And they, the woman in the
Which you can go
bathtub
to in
is
Colorado.
part of it. Going through the hedge maze, the ballroom dancing from some like where with all the ghosts dressed in like period era dress, and it's so it's just like an homage to the movie The Shining.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a really weird, trippy version of The Shining.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of The Shining, and one that's something I couldn't really get into, the sequel, Doctor Sleep, it was just not for me.
I actually haven't had the chance
Yeah.
to watch
I've
Dr.
heard
Sleep.
very good things about it, but
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I hear the log line, and I'm sort of like, I don't know. This
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm not interested in a sequel to The Shining where like
Yeah.
Danny's doing wizard battles.
Yeah, didn't
Yeah.
need it.
It's
Yeah.
weird because then you bring into play, like, that's where Firestarter, I think that's what they're trying. So part of me thinks that because, like what Simona said about the Talisman, so years ago, they created the atrocity adaptation of the Dark Tower.
Which had so much potential.
You
It's
want
It
so
really
Tower.
did. It
yeah,
was
it was so
awful.
disappointing.
But I think that's where they were going to try to go initially, is because all the movies that they're currently remaking, there are books that you can read that have to. Not every Stephen King book has to do with the Dark Tower or takes has any mention in the Dark Tower or like prolific, meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Talisman is a big book for the Dark Tower. And then you had Firestarter, which is a big book for the Dark Tower.
really?
And then you have like
Yeah.
It, which is a huge thing. I watch a guy on TikTok who reminds me of these things occasionally because it's been a while since I sat down and read the Dark Tower. I should really go back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But like the gunslinger's role in the Dark Tower was kind of like they like cut a lot out of his role. They had Matthew McConaughey in it playing the evil guy, and you're just kind of like, I don't know. It felt like Matthew McConaughey in his like car commercials,
Yeah,
just kind
it
of
did.
coming in and being himself. I'm like, no, be evil.
Just here in a
Be a
link.
dark evil entity who's trying to destroy the world, like all the universes, and he's just like, hey.
What do I ride around in when I'm trying to destroy the world? A Lincoln Aviator.
He just wants to send nightmares out, and that's where like it comes into play. Is that it is a nightmare.
So
Who
they're
potentially has like this lover and all this stuff and more.
Wait,
It lays a lot of eggs. Somewhere in the Dark Tower, they talk about how it has like children, and like the spawns of these children are also seen in
Yeah,
other Stephen
and
King. It's
it-
all
it,
so
like-
they're it's a
Like
universe
his-
that's connected.
It's
yeah,
crazy
and much
connected.
like the Kevin Smith filmography, there's always references to other other
well,
books
I
and
remember
stuff.
when I was reading Stephen King's Pet Sematary, which I got through most of it, but just never finished because I just gave up. I didn't care anymore at that point. But in Pet Sematary, there's a mention of Cujo, which is the dog in the other book.
Yeah.
Dog with rabies.
Yeah, which my younger sister was listening to a lot of Stephen King, so that's how I kind of I secondary listening. And Cujo is so sad because he didn't deserve what happened to him. He was just going into a strange cave. He made that mistake, got bitten by a bat. Oh, Cujo.
Oh, you never even seen the movie?
You never seen either movie?
I've probably seen clips of the original. I don't think the acting is that great.
Well, you know.
With the newer film, I've probably only seen. I know my older sister rented it, but I never watched. I was like, I'm not interested. I mean,
I don't know. I love 80s King adaptations.
I
They
really
have-
do,
it's-
too.
it's so-
If we're not watching things that have bad acting, we're not watching most things, you know?
Yeah.
Something to appreciate about.
Has anybody seen the movie Stephen King directed?
No.
No, I didn't even know you directed a movie.
Maximum Overdrive, about trucks that come to life. And
That's not
kill
surprising
people.
considering Christine.
He,
That's what he made.
this is not to besmirch the man. He's been pretty open about his past issues with addiction, but I believe it was at the height of like his cocaine addiction, and so it's just like pretty incoherent.
it's Killer Trucks.
Is that
Yeah.
good Green
Oh
Goblin
my
face?
God.
Yep, it's the Green Goblin
We
truck.
are watching
No, I really
that
want to see it.
for the Caffeinated Librarians.
Lou has his pick.
There's a famous story where he was directing and he invited like a couple bigger directors to set, and one of them was David Lynch, and he was asking like, is it okay if I like break the 180-degree rule?
Is that
and Lynch just sort of laughed and was
the
like,
guy from the
Steven,
Brat Pack?
you're the director.
Estevez?
Yes.
You can put the camera wherever you want.
Is that Emilio
That's
Estevez in the
perfect.
movie?
I think.
That's
Looks like him. I'm
true.
like, that's the guy from like the Brat
Yeah,
Pack.
so there's an actual, at one point the actual truck gets a green Martian-like face.
It's the Green
It's the
Goblin.
Green
the Green
Goblin from
Goblin from
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, the comic book.
If he doesn't
Oh.
make a Spider-Man line in this movie, I swear to God.
Yeah, Emilio
Coming at you,
Estevez, Pat
Spider-Man.
Hingle, Laura Harrington. Oh, what a cast.
Does the book explain why the trucks are so disgruntled?
I don't know.
I'm sure it does. It's not a book. It was just a directed movie, right?
I don't think it's based on a book.
Like they have
Did
to
he
have
write the
motivation.
script, too?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, there has
Oh,
to be
Giancarlo
motivation.
Esposito's in it, and Marla Maples.
This is great. We gotta watch this.
Produced by my
guys.
boy Dino De Laurentiis.
We gotta watch
I think
this.
Lewis found his
There you
pick
go,
for
Lou. You found
November.
Thank you, Stephen King. You
Well,
inspired
it's
me.
funny because there's also like Secret Window,
Oh.
which I'm.
Oh, I didn't know
actually
that
a
was
huge-
Stephen King.
That was him. Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know. It was he didn't direct it, but I also don't. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's actually a book of his.
Oh.
So.
Then what does this have to do with Stephen King?
Well, he worked
wrote
on
the
it.
script,
He
I
wrote the
think.
script.
Oh, he wrote the
for it, I
script.
think.
Oh.
So, but
So
I
he did
feel
write
like I hear like every time I bring up Secret Window, people get upset with me because
Well,
I'm like, oh, it's such a bad. I'm like,
it-
but
it
it's
had-
so cool.
It could have been better though, right? Couldn't it have
Everything could always be better, but I'm just over here like
I
he
beg to
turns her
differ.
just into corn.
been? I beg to differ. Hercules was perfect.
He also wrote a George Romero
outta here.
movie,
Oh yeah.
Creep Show. Yeah, it's.
Oh,
based-
yeah?
He wrote that. He
yeah,
wrote that as a
it's-
book.
Wow.
Oh, it is. It's based. Okay.
That's cool.
Is
It's a
Secret
comic
Window,
series too.
Yeah, it's inspired by EC
Johnny
Comics.
Depp
and-
movie.
Is that the one where at the end he chews on a thing of corn?
Hell yeah. It's like basically it's like the dark half in a sense where it's like another him. He's basically a writer who becomes so obsessed with his writing and trying to figure out he goes to like a cabin to like get quiet time, stuff like that, get away from like his divorce that's going through, all
Yeah.
this stuff. Get away from the world to write his book. But you don't know that basically he's writing the book as things go on and also committing the crimes of the villain of the book as well. But you don't, the movie's shot in such a way where it's like you feel like that's not what's going on. And instead he's
Yeah.
talking to the character.
So
and I
it
love that
blurs
movie.
the line between reality and fiction.
It kind of does. It's kind of crazy when you kind of think of it at the end. You're just like, oh, that's cool. And the cops are like, we're gonna get you one of these days. And he's like, yeah, crunch.
Wait, but
corn.
was there something where like he was? I kind of thought maybe he was using the bodies as fertilizer for the corn. Wasn't that?
No,
the
he
whole
just
thing?
killed his ex-wife and
Oh, okay.
put her in the ground, and then he made corn.
So she was fertilizing the corn then, technically.
I guess so.
Oh, okay.
Healthy
So it was just-
fertilizing.
It was
It
just
was
her.
organic. It was organic gardening.
It
Oh.
is. It's organic.
Organic gardening.
Such is
Wonderful.
life. We go back to the earth and we make corn. Children of the Corn. Let's talk about Children of the Corn. Have you guys ever seen Children of the Corn?
Of course.
No.
No.
I've been
Thought of
hearing
terrifying
rumors
killer
about remakes.
children.
Oh yeah.
I've been hearing those rumors for a while. Of,
What rumors? What?
Of Children of the Corn remake.
Oh.
I'm so excited because
been-
Malachi.
I've been hearing a rumor that they're real.
Like the children of the...
Stop! What, demon-possessed children who
Yeah,
want
you
to,
know,
like...
there's some
These are
there's
the
some
cults
word coming
that-
out of Iowa.
Look, we were talking about, like, you know, some
Jeez,
cults earlier.
no.
We want to talk about the real cults going on in America. Children of the Corn.
God, no. No.
Children being told by the devil to kill their parents. Outlander, we have your woman. Best line. Dude, that ginger boy in the sun. I'm over here like, boy, you need to get an umbrella or something. You're going to burn. I was a ginger myself. I cannot do it.
I was gonna say, do you speak from experience, Amanda? Yeah.
The experience. I went out in the sun yesterday. I was like, oh no.
Well, it's
Oh,
so funny
no,
because I
it's
didn't.
90 out.
Because I was outside and I didn't realize I was tanning until I felt like a burning sensation. I looked down at my arm. I was like, I think now's about time for me to go back in. You know.
My
So-
body's. I want to be outside, but my body's telling me no. So today I will stay inside.
So there's actually like a redheaded child. I thought they're all blonde.
Yeah, Malachi, who's like the oldest kid in the village in his little town, who works for the tiny Satan child. this little kid who's wearing like goth pastor clothing, goth farm pastor look, goth
my
cottage
God.
core, gothage core.
Oh my God.
Like tiny man Malachi's this tall guy. He takes all the other teens and he's like, go find the new people who are here, we'll lure them out. And they're trying to get sacrifices, and the one line he says that's like great and it's stupid is they're looking for the guy and they kidnap his like girlfriend, and they're like, Outlander, we have your woman. He's like he's trying not to kill these children, and he's just like,
I mean, at that point, forget about it.
at that point, you might as well. They're long gone. They've already committed atrocities. Time to yeet all these kids.
Oh my God.
It
Yeet
kind
them
of.
into the corner.
It kind of. What's that movie where like this alien entity impregnates all these women in the town, and the children come out with like platinum blonde hair, and they each have
What is
partner
that?
babies, and there's this
I know what that is.
I'm sorry, I can't remember his
God.
name. The one who played Superman in the 70s. I'm sorry, I cannot remember.
Christopher
Yes,
Reeve?
yes. He plays the
Is that
husband
V?
of one of the women that
No.
gets impregnated. And I know there's the one good one. His name is Adam. He's the one good child.
I know what Village of the Damned.
Yeah, that's it. Village of the Damned.
That's what that kind of
Oh, I
reminded
heard
me of.
that.
I remember I watched that with my
Oh, those
friend.
children are horrifying. Yeah.
Oh,
No, their eyes
yeah.
turn all white and glow,
Yeah.
and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, but there's like the one good kid. I think his name is Adam.
The house on fire.
And he's the
Oh my
one that
God.
helped with his mom. They destroy all the other evil kids. But yeah.
But yeah. The Mist.
Yeah, that's a
The
good.
Mist.
I've never watched that one.
I've only
I-
seen
so
like
good.
clips
It's
of
so
it.
like the ending is so sad and funny at the same time, because it's like all the effort just wasted.
Yeah.
You're like, I was watching the new season or last season of American Horror Story because they did like double season, which was weird. And the first one is a town with these weird vampires, and the one thing is that what's her name, Sarah Paulson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She plays like the crazy lady. She like goes in the grocery store as the first, and she's like, "Don't you get out of this town! Get out of here!" And starts cursing. And like, just reminds me of the old lady from The Mist every time. Is when there's a crazy woman who comes in and she's like, "Get out of here!" and starts cursing atrocities across the room. It's like, why would I want to leave? You're just cursing atrocities.
Was she trying to convince him to leave to avoid the vampires, or?
Yes, they're the town of that season.
So I think if her MO changed, like
That's
if
the
she
whole
was
point.
less crazy, maybe the message would be more well received.
What was she gonna do? Walk up to them and say, "Hey, you know, there's vampires here. You might want to just
vampire.
move
No,
along."
you could have just said there's a blood-sucking cult. It doesn't have to be literal
Well,
vampires.
then who's gonna really believe you
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point? So those
But,
things,
like,
unless
who's
vampires
gonna-
are established.
You gotta
thing.
scare them out, you know.
Who's going to believe that you have that you're vampires?
I stopped watching American Horror Story, I think, after season 5.
I don't think every season is good, but I think that they
No.
have a fun time doing like homages to
But I
like.
think the
genres.
writers lose steam after a while, because like they start off really strong. It was like season 2 with the Asylum.
Yeah, I thought
I feel
Asylum
like
was gonna be
it's
so
tough
different.
to keep a horror story going for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like after a while, it's just you're going to be less scared, you know?
Well, it's
And-
like, I'm not there to be scared. Like, the first season, nothing beats the first season. The first
Yeah.
season is, I think, amazingly done. It's the perfect, like, it's one of the perfect, like, haunted house stories.
Yeah.
The second one, I thought that was going to be like, oh, devil in the asylum, not aliens, devils in the asylum. And
I
was
know.
just like,
I think the minute they introduced the whole alien thing,
it was the worst thing ever.
They lost me. Like, the devil, I understand. The devil goes to the asylum looking for crazy folks, and who's gonna believe crazy folks if they say
Yeah.
the devil is bothering me?
It's true.
So that place of residency
And then they
makes
had,
perfect
like-
sense for me. But it's like,
The
But not
alien
aliens.
subplot was really dumb.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you had a good thing going. You could have just ran with it.
I know,
the
like, that
devils and
would've-
the crazy nuns who were working for the devil, but then you went, oh, he's crazy because he got abducted by aliens and now he has 2 wives? What? Evan Peters?
yeah.
So, you know.
And then once they started trying to, I'm sorry, we're segueing. Well, then again, we were doing this since the beginning.
This is
but,
what Stephen King inspires.
Yeah, but once they started trying to connect every season, I think that's also where, like, you can't do that. You know,
I thought it got fun. It was like
Yeah.
loosely doing it.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, the second
anyway.
season wasn't good. Third season was pretty good.
Yeah.
They made up for it.
I really want to see Return to Salem's Lot.
Oh my
Like,
god.
Stephen King was not involved in it, but it's a Larry Cohen movie from the 80s, and it's about a a documentary filmmaker who makes like Mondo movies, which if you don't know, they were like an Italian genre of documentary
Yeah.
in the 70s that just designed to like capture really shocking
Yeah.
footage, and they were horribly exploitative stuff. Like,
Mhm.
and but it's about this
These vampires are
filmmaker,
ugly.
and he ends up in Salem's Lot, and the vampires are like, make a movie about us, and he does.
not to
And
entertain.
famous director Sam Fuller is there playing a Van Helsing-esque vampire.
So they weren't
hunter.
concerned about exposure?
I guess they just want people to know. They're like, hey,
They're
we're
ugly, I'll
valid.
tell you that. It's one of the ugliest vampires I've ever seen. Like, look at this nasty blue face.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm a huge fan, like, of, like, seeing what people do with vampires, but this is, like, one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. I, like, watched the Netflix movie Day Shift last night. I appreciated that effort.
Oh, I like
But at
they
least the
hired
vampires
actual
weren't ugly.
contortionists.
The dude, she was fighting with her feet. I was like,
Yeah, they hired actual contortionists to play the vampires. What those people were able to do, they are
God.
amazing. Like
they were just wrapping
You
around
gotta
the.
see the new Macbeth. The witches are played by
Yes.
Catherine Hunter, I think. is
she's.
her
I
name?
saw clips of
Yeah,
her. It's like,
no,
you are
she does
awesome.
crazy stuff in it. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was I love her.
Well, I
too.
have
That was the
Apple
one with,
Plus now, so I will.
Check it out.
Check
it's
it
a,
out,
It's
yeah.
a great one.
That's
I
the
hear
one with
Severance is
Denzel,
very good
right?
on Apple Plus
What?
also.
Denzel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen commercials for that Severance.
That's what I've heard.
That's ugly,
Very
man.
good things about
That's what I was
Severance.
saying. It's
It's
gnarly
like-
looking.
Yeah.
Of all the things you could have gone.
I don't know.
with,
It's not something that I would naturally gravitate towards, so I don't know that I would
It's all,
watch it.
like,
All right.
sweaty.
I'll just
why
keep my
is he
opinions to
blue?
myself next time.
Is he blue or
David
just
Blue.
lighting?
Why do you do that?
Because just shot down immediately. Unbelievable.
Ah,
She's just so dismissive. You know what
I
I
am
mean?
not.
It's a barrier. We got to break it down a little bit. You know, chip away at it. Kind of like in Shawshank Redemption.
Don't listen to
Chip
him.
away. Chip away at the wall. You know.
Did
Don't
anybody
listen
ever
to
like
him.
watch the Sci-Fi Channel? Like when
Yeah.
it was on, they did a collection of short stories, Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which was also
Oh.
a Stephen King, which is really cool. I always liked that. It's a bunch of his short stories in each episode. Which
That's
I
cool.
think they should bring back, honestly. He's got so many short stories that could just be made into like a little tiny, like one shot, different directors doing.
I mean, yeah, like they keep trying to do the Twilight Zone again, and it keeps failing because it's just cursed.
We have a book for that too.
But, like, yeah, try it with Stephen King. Why not?
I mean,
Get
there's,
away from the bad John Landis energy.
It's like you ever want to do a good movie marathon?
So
just
wait,
do
the
Stephen King, 'cause
not the
there's so
TV show, The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, they've done a couple revivals of it, and none of them have gotten past a season. And
Which is the Jordan.
yeah,
Oh,
Jordan
yeah, that's
Peele
right.
did one.
He
There was
did
one
do
in the
one.
early
I thought he
2000s.
thought he got 2 seasons.
Did he? Well,
I
I
could
don't
be
know.
very
but
wrong. I didn't
from
watch
what
it.
I understand, it just wasn't well received. But But yeah, I choose
There's
to
something
blame
on
it
the wing.
John Landis killing
Some-
3 people.
Yeah, it got 2 seasons for the Jordan Peele.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen the Twilight Zone.
Oh,
The
Twilight
original
Zone's
Twilight
fun.
Zone is so
Yeah,
good.
it's
The original Twilight
Yeah.
Zone.
Sci-fi. If you still have cable, I recommend. This is what I do when I go to my family's house and I have to stay up on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I was just gonna say New
Sci-fi
Year's
used
Eve.
to do the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's
just
when we would watch
marathon,
it.
and
They
then
used to
just
do. They used to show
stupid
all of them New
episodes.
Year's
But I
Eve.
think one of my favorite
Yeah.
episodes of
He's
the
last
Twilight
man on
Zone
the earth.
Yeah.
of Twilight Zone is watching William Shatner move the
Yes.
curtain
Yeah.
of the airplane window, and
That's
they
a great
sees a
one.
gremlin, and he goes,
I love
"There's
that
something
one.
on the wing.
I love
Something."
I love the one where the little kid has psychic powers and just runs the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's not Stephen King, the original
No.
Twilight Zone. No, I didn't think so.
But we can see a lot of inspiration. All right. So amongst those ones, there's also the movie 1408, which everyone should know as well.
That is extremely underrated.
It really is, and nobody talks about
Yeah.
it enough.
So what's 1408 about?
1408's
About
intense.
a crazy hotel room.
Yeah, but like,
Or an
but like,
apartment.
there's kind of like, you know,
It
there's
is-
that whole part with his son, too, or his daughter doesn't his like kid dies,
Yeah.
and like the hotel kind of like takes him to like other dimensions and stuff like that, and no one believes that he went through this whole ordeal, and then at the end of the movie, there's like the voicemail from the kid or something like that, and the wife hears it,
It's a psychological.
and then like that's how it ends. It's like it's pretty intense.
Didn't John Cusack?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I know what you're talking
Samuel
about.
L.
Samuel L.
Jackson.
Jackson.
Gotcha.
Tony Shalhoub.
And he had
And Mary
it with
McCormick.
those ghosts in that hotel. I tell you.
What happened?
It's a crazy movie.
You never
It's
saw snakes on a
honestly-
plane?
No.
No.
I had it with these snakes on this
It's a
plane.
movie I like refused to watch because the
Oh.
title just
Oh,
gave away the whole thing. But I remember the band that was
That's
hired
just-
to make the
that's
theme
the
song.
log line. What are you talking about?
When I was younger, I was like, what's the point of even watching this movie? It's like, I should probably go back and watch it, to be fair. I know the theme song for it was by Cobra Starship.
Yeah, it's not the best movie. It's
I didn't
entertaining
think
though.
it was gonna be.
See, now I don't like snakes. I have a fear of snakes, so I won't be watching that movie.
Well, did they explain how the
They're more
snakes got on the
scary.
plane?
Yeah,
I think they're being
pretty
like
sure.
they're being like flown
Yeah,
somewhere,
I-
and for some reason,
Yeah, I think like someone's like poaching them or
Yeah.
something, and then the
Oh,
snakes.
so then the snakes are justified in their rampage then.
Of course.
Okay.
they're
Innocent
scared. They're in
people.
the air. They're like, we don't know what to do. What's going on?
It's one of those movies that you're just like, this became a bigger deal than it needed to be.
Oh yeah,
remember the
because
movie
they
of the
gave it a
year.
really funny title,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, okay,
Yeah.
And then they gave Samuel L.
we'll
Jackson his
entertain this.
mother effing line, and
Yeah.
that's where it all went into chaos.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But
I don't know.
1408 really was. It's like, yeah. I mean, there's scary parts in it, but I agree. It's more of like a psychological thing.
It's a
like,
psychological horror. It's not
Yeah.
instead of being like gory and
Yeah.
like jump scary. It's
Yeah.
it's haunting
Yeah.
and mysterious. So,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of you ladies out there are reading Colleen Hoover right now. I know because
Yeah,
we've got
Colleen
like
Hoover's
90
very popular right
page
now.
long wait lists
Wow.
Yeah.
for all the ladies out there who are looking for the next big like psychological thriller thing. 1408 is probably your best jump way.
Yeah.
Go watch it. Be spooked.
Yeah, it was very good. A good movie.
There's also a short miniseries, and I feel like doesn't get a lot of love either. It's Bag of Bones. It was
I know that one.
It was on AMC when they did it. It has Pierce Brosnan. Brosnan.
Brosnan.
I can never pronounce his name. It's like it comes out of my head and it sounds different. But it's another kind of like haunting one. It's more of a like search and find, not kind of like what your 80s conventional like Stephen King movies were. Instead, they were trying to bring out the best of like his other stories that weren't so like kind of nuts and
Yeah.
crazy. And it dealt with like custody battles and an accident and ghosts. And so
Interesting.
not a lot of people talk about that one. I think it's a huge book, but Stephen King doesn't really write a lot of tiny books. Now he's been doing it more lately with like Elevation other stories like that, but he hasn't really written anything super small either, so
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Green Mile, I think,
it's
is...
huge.
Is it?
I thought that was a novella.
Yeah, I thought that was a novella, The Green
Yeah,
Mile.
that was big. I think we have
It was
it
a
here.
really-
I think I've seen
It's
it.
was a-
sort of an anthology.
Oh,
It was
that's
a
probably why
really
it looks
long
so
movie.
big. It's
Yeah.
a good movie.
It's a very good movie.
good movie.
That movie always makes me so sad.
And
As it should.
who can
Yeah.
forget the classic television series Under the Dome? starring
I
Hank
s-
Schrader.
That was
I
interesting.
never watched it.
Me neither.
It came out
That's
after the
interesting.
Simpsons movie, so I was just like, hey, you can't take the concept
No.
seriously anymore.
Yeah.
I've been watching The Outsider, and that
I
one's
hear
been
good things
really
about that.
interesting so far.
Yeah.
It seems like definitely like a crime drama that has, of course, Stephen King's got to put some like supernatural element, but
Of
I
course.
haven't seen what it is yet. But there's some, but I think it has to do with doppelgangers,
Ooh.
Oh.
which
That's what disappointed me.
look here.
You've seen it?
No, I read the book.
Nah, I
Yeah.
love doppelgangers.
Yeah, they're cool.
Doppelgangers, if
but by
used
all
correctly,
means,
are interesting.
Still
No.
finish it, Amanda, and
No,
let us know
that's
what
it.
you think.
So The Outsider and The
It's okay.
Stranger are different, though, right?
What happened?
I thought you said you read The Stranger.
She's read
No,
The
The
Outsider.
Outsider.
Oh,
But I think there is one called this. Is it?
Albert
Oh,
Camus
but
wrote
you
The
said The
Stranger.
Stranger.
My bad.
But I don't
meant
think
The
that's what you're
Outsider.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing supernatural happens there.
No,
Dude's
not
just
really.
depressed.
Yeah.
Which one?
And
Albert
The
Camus'
Stranger.
The Stranger.
I'm sorry, I meant The Outsider.
Oh, okay.
Outsiders. Let's see.
Oh,
There's
well,
been
now
some
now I don't have to
very-
watch it, I guess.
No, you could still watch. I mean, I don't recall exactly. I don't even know if it's a doppelganger. To be perfectly honest, what the creature actually
There's
is.
another
So
Stephen King
watch
called
it and
Trucks.
yeah.
From 1997. Maybe that's his
It's
bringing
his
it
follow
back.
up to Max.
Stop!
Okay, so yeah, I looked it up. Apparently, the trucks come alive because of a comet.
Oh.
That seems to be about his MO.
So no like disgruntled like work regulations. We have too many loads to carry.
No, the
It's
comet
amazing.
comes
Okay.
and they revolt.
That's not that interesting. The comet coming makes it a little more interesting.
Not really.
Look, you gotta get your things.
No.
It's
I
like
am down
Transformers.
for trucks versus humans. I
Yes.
think that's the most
Transformers?
primal of conflicts.
Transformers?
Not trees.
No, trucks
M. Night
versus humans.
Shyamalan, the trees. No.
Oh my
Happening.
god, The
Lord of the
The
Happening.
Rings.
the trees. Like that's not terrifying to you.
That
Wait,
is one of my least favorite
that's the
movies.
motivation in the happening.
My
Yeah,
bad. Did I
it's
spoil
The
everything?
happening rules. Never. I'm all for it.
it's not as cool as it sounds.
I've seen a few clips.
No,
from
you
it,
can't
and
deter him
at
now.
least- at
Horrible.
least just the tone of it is fascinating to me.
No,
It's just
I
like,
honestly like.
happening?
Mark
No.
Wahlberg is just horrible.
But you
in
see,
it.
the problem is like I don't know whether it was intentional. Like M. Night Shyamalan says, "I want you to act as if you can't act," and he just like
He did
went
he
for
did a
it.
great job then. I take it
Or
back.
like he was convinced he was
No.
doing a good
I-
job and just wasn't
I
told.
love M. Night. Okay,
I'm
Old
sorry.
was next level.
I'm
I
I
still have to
did
see
watch
that.
that. It was
It's
super
so
crazy.
Good. It's insane.
I'm sorry, but M.
I'm not
Night
gonna lie, where'd she get the
Shyamalan
extra
ruined
bathing suit?
my favorite animated series
It-
when I... No,
It's a
no.
for hire gig.
you
You
can-
can't
No.
judge a director
Yes,
on
I
their
can.
worst work.
Look, now you
Yes,
gotta,
I can.
it's okay. You can get rid of that one and you can replace it with the new live action that's coming out, and you can hate on that one even more because it's gonna be longer.
The
But it-
Netflix
watch
one.
But it could. You listen. There's something called hope. Let's embrace it and
I
say
have-
that it'll
I
be
There's
have
also things
that.
called low expectations, so that way you're not so high up here that it's
Again,
like you're that
well,
disappointed.
also again, the movie came out just as the series was ending, so I think everyone's expectations were a little high.
Yeah, so knowing that M. Night Shyamalan, because ever since Sixth Sense, he could do nothing right in the eyes of people, and
I'm
I
not
honestly
sure.
think
I'm
some films are good.
Unbreakable?
Yeah, I thought
Signs?
Signs
No,
is
but
very
no,
good.
people trash
Lady in the
Signs.
Water?
Unbreakable,
I
they
love Lady in
trash.
the
Like I
Water.
feel like after the
Stupid.
Sixth
Yeah.
Sense, he could do nothing
Yeah,
right.
I think Signs is maybe one of the most underrated movies there
Signs
is.
is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
there's
with
there's a lot of depth to it
And
too.
like, I don't know.
No, there
People
is.
complain so much about his dialogue, and it's just like he's clearly not going for realism,
Yeah.
guys. Like, come on.
And I think they also
you have to
hated-
meet him halfway.
They
Like,
hated his cameos. I think especially in Unbreakable, once he what was the film where he stepped out of cameo? No, sorry. The film that I love, which is probably maybe people's least favorite, is Lady in the Water.
I love Lady in the... No, people hate The Village the most.
I
I,
th-
love
I-
The
I-
Village.
Lady in the Water's the
Really?
one considered to be the worst. Yeah.
But I love
Because every time I
Lady
talk to
in
them about The
Water.
Village, they're like, that's like his worst movie.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Beauty in the
y'all
Water.
just-
The Village has been majorly reevaluated.
Yeah.
Really?
And I think
hope
people
so because I always thought it was cool.
when it came out, I think people just expected something else. But
Yeah.
now
But
if
the
you
monster they
watch it
created
going
is
into
so
and kind of if you watch it now going into it, you're almost kind of like you appreciate it a little bit more than
I just thought Old was.
I still have to see it.
One
Yeah.
of the,
I
it just
finally
feels like a
watched it because I was, like,
nightmare after
bored.
a point. It's just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Everything's just acted at such a fever pitch, and like the editing's so weird and woozy. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah?
I was a big
Did
fan.
everyone see Lady in the Water?
Yeah.
I haven't.
That was the story I think he wrote for his children, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Because I
that
might
turned into
change
a
my
movie.
film since Amanda gave me
I
Snake
just-
Eye when I said Spirited Away.
Look here.
I-
Pick whatever you want. I will watch it.
What
Okay.
did everyone else pick?
I haven't picked. I'm having a hard time.
What did you pick?
Tentatively, I picked We Are Little Zombies, a Japanese movie from a couple years back that's about a bunch of orphans who start a rock band.
Cool.
And it's a fun time. There's a lot of like video game effects in there. And, like,
Oh, cool.
It's really a cool movie. Got really overlooked here for whatever reason.
Cool.
So.
Is it in the
It's-
system?
It's
Should I-
on Canopy.
Oh, nice. I was
Oh,
gonna say, should I
cool.
order a copy? Cool. What did you pick, Katie?
Oh, King Arthur, Legend of
That's
the
right.
Sword.
I'm having a hard time right now.
Well, what are some
Now that
options? Let's-
I don't know. I have a problem when it comes to like, you know, if I don't know specifically what I like, if I don't have like a genre or something that I'm looking up that I'm like, but it's like if it's a movie I want to show you guys, it's like one of those movies I don't want like everybody to have seen, and so I want you guys to like experience it for the first time. But also I understand that sometimes my taste can kind of get in the way of things. Like I briefly mentioned to Joe one of my choices because I've never heard anybody talk about it. And I think we both agreed that that one's out.
Which one is that?
What was it?
It's a 3-part movie series, but they're like an hour long each, called
Okay.
Mardox Scramble. It's an anime film series that I personally really enjoyed, and I think nobody talks about. But because of some of the content, I think we have agreed
Oh.
uncomfortable content, it might not be. It's not gory and stuff like that. There's just other things about it that I'm just like, maybe not. I'm like, maybe I'll just keep this one to myself. So I'm trying to find things that. So we decided to do the Stephen King appreciation one, as initially we had planned on, you know, doing a big ol' episode on the new Salem's Lot. We were going to do a book read comparing it to the new one, but unfortunately last minute they were like, nope, sorry, postponed till next year. So but we still wanted to talk a little bit about Stephen King, as he's been very prolific in the past year or two at this point, with shows and movies just popping out, especially with the remakes of Firestarter. Also, I don't know if you guys know, like the original Firestarter with Drew Barrymore as a child, she was also in another Stephen King movie called Cat's Eye. So, as a child as well. So, if you ever wanted...
Never heard of that.
Cat's Eye is a very underrated... It's an anthology. So, it's about a cat that basically reoccurs in 3 different
Cat's
stories.
eye. I was hearing
Ah.
this cacti.
Cats, meow. Yes, meow. Meow, meow. Evil cat. Stephen King, no matter what you've done, whatever he's written,
Look, I think he's written about evil any noun of your choice at this
he
point.
did a werewolf
so.
one too called Silver Bullet.
Really? Oh.
And I praise him for that because there's not enough werewolf love out there.
No, there isn't.
Don't worry, when we talk about
wait.
werewolves, we'll
I think
reference
It's not
it.
Twilight because they're not werewolves.
No. Wow. Wow.
Ryan Gosling's gonna be the werewolf, right? The
Wolfman.
I'm
The Wolfman, yeah.
I'm so
Yeah. No, he's gonna be great.
So good.
Yeah, he's gonna be
He's
great.
gonna act great. He's gonna look great.
Is that a remake of something else, or it's
The Wolfman,
Wolfman.
Yeah.
the original like black and
Yeah,
white.
Universal's
okay.
been revisiting some of that stuff.
Oh,
recently.
'cause I
They
was
were
thinking-
supposed to do this dark universe.
The Dark Universe wasn't going to be good, Amanda.
I didn't care. I just wanted it.
They're doing it now, and they're making good movies. The Invisible Man was good.
It was very
It
good.
was.
Yeah.
Is he considered part of the dark universe?
Yeah.
This one?
No, it's not Dark Universe. They're just doing the monster movies again. Why do they have to be interconnected? It's goofy.
I want to watch.
I agree with you, Joe.
I want to watch
agree.
Dracula versus the Wolfman, but not have the Van Helsing one because that one's already been done and it's great.
That
I just
exists.
want another one.
They made all the 40s ones
I
like
want
that.
a monster fight movie. That's all I
They
want.
made all the 40s ones. Watch them.
Yeah, but I want to see new ones too. I just want to see what it looks
They're
like.
not so good.
But there's hot guys now.
Oh my god.
Except if they're gonna try to put Nicolas Cage in the Dracula role, then I'm gonna be like, please
I
don't let
think-
that be the remake.
I don't think that one's under the Universal banner. I think that's a different
Oh, thank God.
one. If
Nicolas
that-
Cage is going to be Dracula?
Yeah,
He's going to
it's
play
in
a rendition of
mov-
Dracula.
It's in a
It's the Renfield?
Renfield movie.
Oh.
That's the
Yeah,
one on
which
the
I think
boat.
could be really funny.
Yeah.
I think they're playing it as a comedy.
Oh, if it's a
I just
comedy,
never
then yeah.
expected in my wildest
Didn't he
dreams
play
that
like
they'd
a
play-
guy who thinks he's a
Vampire's Kiss.
vampire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Classic movie.
I don't think I've even ever heard of that.
It's just him going insane.
Nice.
He's like an 80s
That's what he's good
stockbroker,
at.
and he
He's
just
good at going
screams,
nuts.
and it's amazing.
That's why Color Out of Space is so good. He's good at being nuts and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's H.P. Lovecraft, not Stephen King.
Yeah.
Wow.
With that, I think we'll
I don't
call
even know
it-
like
Oh.
where we are right now. What we've been talking about.
This episode kind of went off the rails.
Stephen King has
think it was a
inspired a
fun
lot
one,
of
though.
It
people,
was.
has inspired a lot of movies.
Speaking of King, Stephen King, King Arthur Flower,
Oh my god.
bringing it full circle.
Sponsor me. I've got your espresso holder.
I have been hooked on espresso lately.
Really?
Make
Yeah,
you some espresso cookies.
loving it. Like,
I've been on iced coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
that's my vice. Even in the winter, iced coffee.
I'm
yeah,
only
my
on
my
ice
friend is
cream.
like that too. He always gets iced coffee no matter what.
You know, I always get flack for that. Like, whenever I would go into Starbucks, the very few times, because I don't really. Anyway, so like, very few times I would go in there, like, in the winter, I was like, do I say anything for people that buy hot coffee in the summer? Like, leave me alone. Take my money and give me my coffee.
See, my friend though, he does. He says, "Oh, you drink hot coffee and you drink hot in the summer?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Apparently, it's supposed to. I remember there was like this thing they were saying that it was supposed to be good for you to drink the hot
It
ones.
is.
It's supposed to help regulate your like,
It is,
body,
yeah,
like get used to
exactly.
the heat.
But
But I'm
can
like-
we not enjoy ice no matter what? Like, must there be this stigma against
Ice
people
is
that enjoy
nice.
iced coffee even in the winter?
I
No.
have no opinion.
Okay.
I don't drink coffee.
I have their
All
chai
right,
tea
you
and
got
I drink
tea
the iced tea.
takes.
Tea takes. Yeah.
Iced teas.
I love iced tea.
I prefer to drink hot tea. Hot.
I have a
Starbucks
Captain.
chai, amazing.
That's what
Yeah,
I usually do is
I-
the iced chais. And sometimes if you
I've never
ever
had
have
the iced. I always go for the hot chai latte.
See
The
now,
iced
if you
chai's
want
nice.
really good tea, you should get Harney and Sons.
Sponsor
They're the
us.
best.
I gotta make them.
They're the best, I think, brand of tea. I don't go to Starbucks. Starbucks is just
I'm a Bigelow tea guy.
Bigelow.
Bigelow.
My sister's like a tea fanatic, so I'm sure she could give several
Oh, yeah.
instances. But I don't really drink tea besides like chai tea because I like milk teas. I don't like water-based teas. I don't like the watery after flavor that I always get. So I'm not.
Well,
a
then
fan.
you don't steep it long enough. You have to steep the tea for 5 minutes, and then you don't get that watery aftertaste.
My
Me,
sister does. I just haven't found the right tea then. I guess.
Yeah.
I never got boba. I've tried it.
I
and
don't
couldn't
like
get
the
into
Same.
black
it.
tea.
I'm not a boba person.
There was a place.
I'm open to giving it another shot, but it threw me off. I was
Yeah.
not expecting
It's
The
weird the
Topiaca.
first
tapioca
time.
to
yeah.
feel
That's
like
the
that.
funnest part of the whole boba
No,
experience.
it's not. I mean, I'm of the
Not
same
into it.
opinion. I mean, I don't. It's a texture. It's a texture thing, Simona.
Like I said, I'm open to it. I'm open
I
to
like
I'll
it.
come
I
in
just
next
don't
week
want
I
with
don't
the
like the
tapioca.
black tea pearls. I'm not a fan of the flavor of the
I
bitter
don't know where
black
to
tea
get boba around
pearls.
here, actually.
Let's have Thai.
Perfect.
Sponsor
I've been meaning
local
to try that
business.
place
Let's
anyway.
have Thai. Has boba.
Shop local business.
Yes.
Is that the new Thai place?
No, it's been
Oh.
here for a while.
Oh.
It's just down the road.
Because
Every
there's a
time
new
we-
Thai place coming out, right?
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
there's
a
a-
Vietnamese place.
Vietnamese.
There's a
that's right, yeah.
Vietnamese, an
I'm so
Italian
excited for the
one.
pho
There's
place.
I think there's like 4 different places coming
Well,
in
there's a
that.
Japanese place like right up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I've
that's
heard
really
great
good
things
too.
about Yamaichi. I
I
still
love
haven't been.
Yamiichi.
It's a family run one, so like
Yep.
it's a guy and his wife. And his
Yeah.
wife's from Japan.
The
And
ramen
she
was
makes
really
it, and her
good.
It's
brother
all
also.
really good.
Yeah.
Local businesses, support them. Yeah, they were really
Support
good.
them.
But
Please
Let's
support
Have Thai
them. or
has
lose
bubble
the
tea.
best places.
Yeah. That's whenever I go, that's what I get. I haven't yet had their food, but my older sister, who knows the owner and his son, she says they're really good.
You know,
I would
I've
get the
been
food.
to try their duck curry.
Mmm.
I would get the food. I will stay away from the boba.
But you see, boba, it depends on what you're getting. Like, I'm not into the fruit boba that much.
I like
I
the
like
fruit
the tea
boba.
Oh yeah.
So it depends on where you're going. Because I've had, like, one of my favorites is taro, which I know is not tea-based, but that's one of my favorite flavors. I've had it in several places, and they're not always good. So depending on where you go, that can ruin the whole experience. But the whole fun part is sucking the boba through the straw. How can you not like the boba?
It's a texture thing.
Yeah.
There was a place I went to called Panda Boba in the city when I was at Hunter. It was like my favorite place because they did like a mango boba, where it was like I had got like a banana milk tea with like mango boba, and that was like my jam for a while. I was like, this is the best thing.
Yeah, there was a place in White Plains where they used to
But the
use
bobas weren't so
actual
big, they were,
fruit
like, smaller.
with their fruit boba, not the powder. So they would like cut up the mango for
Yeah.
you, the watermelon. It was.
There's
so
a place
good.
like that near where I live in Queens now where they do that. Called Mr. Wish. Good place.
Cool.
Oh, you're so lucky. You're so close to so many boba shops being in the city.
And I don't even leave my house half the time. I have a lot of work to do when I wake up. So with that, I think we'll end things here. This is more of a Stephen King appreciation and just all around appreciation for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So if anything, this was an interesting update info session about things we're going to be doing in November. Joe has given us a prompt for November.
It was all Lou.
Oh,
I
Lou!
gave a prompt for November?
Sorry, I saw you
Yeah, you
tell me.
suggested
I
that,
saw the
right?
thing on the
Oh,
calendar. and you wrote a
the
note
pick
for
of the
it.
movies. Oh, right, right.
Movies.
Yeah.
That's right. So it was Lewis's
Lou,
suggestion.
claim
Sorry, I
your
saw you
credit.
post it
Yeah, I
on
forgot.
the thing.
Not sure.
You've been
So-
busy, so it's okay.
So look forward to what movies we pick and watch them with us, or watch it before the episode, and
Yeah.
hope you enjoy those
Yeah.
picks.
Cool.
And as always, thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.